Japanese games are extremely popular in these days because they offer beautiful art and interesting mechanism. So when this game was announced on Kickstarter, I was super excited. This game is so heavy. This is Falling, new game by Sunny Bird and now picked up by Capstone Games. Let's take a look how it plays. This is the board setup for the game of Falling. You start by shuffling the victory card deck and place it here on the top left. You have the normal tiles, and then you have the floor round tiles. I recognize them by the back, but you also can recognize by the length. The normal are longer, the round are shorter. You place the resources out over here. This is, by the way, as the one with the deluxe components. These are acrylics tokens. If you have the retailer edition, you will have a carton punch out. And here you will still have these beads over here. Then you shuffle the resources card. You have round 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then you have the guild cards 1, 2, 3, and 4. As here, you separate the decks. And then you take these tiles, normal tiles, and you place it from bottom to the 4th floor. And for the 5th floor, you will take one of the shorter one. The board is reset, so it's very easy to figure out which board goes and where. You decide the starting player, which will get this token. Then you will place the marker at the first player, second, and third. And also you will place on this track over here accordingly. Here you see the player board. Again, as I said, this is the Kickstarter edition that comes also with this additional board to keep the resources. Totally unnecessary, but it's a nice artwork. But if you get the retail edition, your board will look like this. It's just totally fine. This is totally unnecessary, but here we have it. You place the tokens according to the sizes, very intuitive which one goes where. You fill up your board. Each player receives one guild number 4 card. Now you can play with partners or without it. If you play without partners, you're going to have a genie here that you're going to have a basic income and you're going to have these resources. It will be identical for everyone. Otherwise, you can select partners and you can draft it. You can just get it randomly. And some of these are double-sided. For example, here we have the pilot, which gives you some special ability, making the game asymmetrical. And also the starting resources are asymmetrical. Here you have a negotiator, you have the material tracker, and on the other side we have the receptionist. For example, if I take the architect, these are the starting resources for my game. So I will get 2 gas, I will get 1 of this coin chip, and then I will get 3 money. And we are ready to begin. The game is played in 4 rounds. And each round has 5 phases. We have a preparation phase, a supply phase, exploration phase, and income phase and progress phase. Essentially, the exploration phase, which is the 3rd phase, is the main core of the game. It can go back and forth between the player until all the player passes. After 4 rounds, who has the most points is the winner of the game. And points are indicated by this token or this symbol here, this kind of a scroll here in purple. These are victory points. At the beginning of each round, the player would draw 1 resource card and 1 guild card according to the round they are in. So let's say we are in round number 1, we'll draw a guild card number 1, and we'll draw a resource card indicated with 1. This card also will be applied for round number 2. So we take this card and players simultaneously will decide how to orientate this card and then this player. As you see here, they're divided in 2 halves. And essentially what you're going to do, you're going to select the bottom half that you want to activate or you want to have. For example, I may decide to have this one. So 2 coins. That what it means is I can have a power to convert 2 coins into 2 bricks. And while as a resource, I could have a coin and 2 gas, 1 brick and 1 stone, or have 2 crystal, 1 stone. Crystals are quite rare, honestly. But at the beginning of the game, perhaps I want to do this. So I decided to get this, and players simultaneously cover the cards and then reveal it. When you reveal it, the card here that indicates the resources, you will gain those resources. So I will gain 1 coin, 2 gas, 1 brick, and 1 stone. So I will get these resources. I can place it over here. And I take the guild card and slide underneath my board. And this will be a benefit or power action that I can have on my turn all the time throughout the game. The exploration phase is constituted by 4 action. We have ascent, we have installation of device, we have negotiation, and then pass. When all players will pass, then is the end of this phase. Then you have a sub action. Once at the start of each turn, you can use a skill chip to activate one of your power, and then you can perform a regular action. For example, in this case, I will perform exactly what I planned to do, spend 2 money to get 2 bricks, and I put it over there. Everyone on the player board has this optional action over here. This, once you put the chip there, cannot be reactivated in the same round. You need to wait for the next round to be activated. One action that you can perform is ascend. You have your air balloon or your airship, whatever that is, and you want to climb on top of the mountain to exploit this mountain that is falling and get resources. Each level has a cost to ascend. This is cost 2 gas, 3 gas, and then you have 1 resource plus 5 gas, 2 resources plus 7 gas. During your turn, with one action, you can ascend to any level you like as long as you pay the total cost of this ascension. For example, if I want to ascend from level 1 to level 3, I need to spend 2 plus 3 gases, and I can place my token in any of these spots as long as they are empty. Since I have only 4 gases, I would, for example, spend 2 gases to move my airship and place it, for example, over here to get 1 gas back. If you ascend multiple levels in one turn, you don't get any resources left that you pass by. You just get the resources of the location that you place your pawn into. Why you want to ascend this mountain? Because when you ascend, you can install a device, which is a new action, on the same floor where your flying machine is. The idea is that when you install a device, you are going to place in one of these empty spaces where your flying machine is, and you will gain the reward indicated underneath. In addition to that, you also get the reward always indicated here on the left. If you see here, there are some blue background spots. Those are available only above the 3rd floor. So at the moment, my flying machine is at the 2nd floor, so I have no access to this reward. You see here, there's cross off 1 and 2. Well, 1st and 2nd floor, you don't have access to that. There are also some location that says 1, 2, 3. You don't have access to that, so that's a player-dependent location. Let's go to the board and see what devices you can install. You can install a refinery device. It looks like this. It's here at the bottom left. And refinery devices give you gas. They don't actually give you the gas right away. When you call them back, you will see later on the cleanup phase, this machine will go back. When you cover that, they will give you the indicated value of gas underneath. Here you have the cost for each refinery device, a smelting device, a mining device, an exploration device. So you pay the cost and then you can deploy it. And the smelting device will give you money. The melting device will give you resources and chip skills. And then finally, the exploration device will give you victory points. So in this case, I want to build a smelting device. So I will spend 2 gases and 1 brick. I will take my smelting device and then I will place it on the same floor. For example, I will place it right here. I will get 5 victory points and then I will get 1 gas. So I will get 1 gas back and I will get 5 victory points. How do victory points convert? So I will move my little pawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Once this pawn passes this deck, so I do 10 victory points, I gain one of these cards. These cards give me immediately 1 resource, and then I can keep it as a way to remind that I scored 10 points. And so throughout the game, you go around, getting more cards and getting more resources. And then after I do an action, the other player does an action, and then the third player does an action, and the turn it goes back to me. And then, for example, I can perhaps build another smelting device. So I will spend once again two gases and one brick, deploy this guy and place it on the board. The next action you can do is the negotiation. And the negotiation spots are over here. What you can do is essentially spend one crystal or one chip skill. So for example, I spend a crystal and I locate it over here and I gain the resource and victory points indicating on this spot. This spot can be filled by only one player per round. And then when the round ends, this area will be cleaned up and will be available right away. So often these are places that people go very often because they give you resources, but also victory points. And there are not many opportunities to participate in those. But they are also expensive. Crystals and chip skills are very difficult to gather. And then the last action you have is the pass action. When you decided to pass because you don't have anything else to do or because the purposely you want to pass, you will move your marker on the first player and say, I'm the first one to pass, and I will become the first player on the next round, and I will place the token over there. When you place your pawn over here, we'll gather the resource indicator over there. So in this case, I will gather crystal. Then when a player passes, cannot take any further action, so other players can keep playing, and that player have to skip the turn, and that player cannot take any action. Every time the turn goes back to the player that just passed, they will move their pawn downwards, gaining the rewards over there. So, for example, then they will pass and will get a gas token. Then, for example, the blue player will pass eventually and will get one coin and one gas. And then the pink player keeps playing, so this player will go down, getting a chip token and a gas. And finally, the third player will decide to pass and will get the reward, the 2 coins over there. After all players have passed, we go to the income phase. So all players get their income. You see these hands over here that indicate will gain you resources. In this case, I will get 1 coin during the income phase. If I have multiple devices deployed, I will get the income only from the highest deployed device. So in this case, I will get 3 coins and 4 victory points. I will not get these rewards, always from the highest deployed device. Other things that can give you income are the guild cards that you have selected at the beginning of the round. So here you see there's income, but I picked the other part. This is very tempting, especially for beginner player, because they give you some sort of economy going on, but definitely these are more powerful action to keep because this is an engine that you can run throughout the game. And then we go to the progress phase. The progress phase has 5 steps to perform: remove lower levels, move upper level tiles, replenish, reset negotiation space, reset player pieces. The first things you need to do in the progress phase is removing lower tiles and retrieving devices. So the first and second floor will slide down because the tower is falling. I think this is the most coolest part of the game. You remove those tiles, and by removing those tiles, you also remove all the devices on top of them. So in that case, I had my 2 melting devices, and my melting devices go back to my board, giving me the rewards or the resources that I'm going to cover. So in this case, 5 coins. Then you move the upper level tiles. So this tower is falling. This will go down. This also will go down. And then you will replenish 1 with the normal tile, so the longer one, and 1 with the round tile. So you will see now the board is getting alternating. You have different lengths and different number of spots for each floor. But I also like the art at the back is all continuous. So you have one continuous drawing. If there were any crystal over here or chips tokens will be removed, then you need to reset the player order. So this will go here, this goes here, this will go here. Then if you have any chip skills places, they will return to your hand, and then you are ready to start a new supply phase. Remember, in the supply phase, you could draw a resource card and a guild card, and they are always according to the round. So if we finish now round number 1, and now we start in round number 2, we'll draw a number 2 guild card. And then at the end of the game, you count the points. Who has the most points is how he plays. As you see, this game is a straightforward worker placement game of some sort. You get some resources. You use those resources to select a level or a floor of this falling mountain, and then you deploy your workers, your machinery. They give you resources. It's a simple game. What is characterized this game is really the falling mechanism or that board that goes down. It's not the first time that you have movements or moving parts on the board that give you different resources or different bonuses depending on which level they are. But the theme and how it's done here is very, very interesting. What I like is, first of all, the simplicity. And also is that everything you do, it gives you something. It gives you resources. And I like the puzzle, how high you want to go to spend gases to deploy a machinery on a very high level, or you go a little bit lower to get the machinery coming back and giving you resources. It's not because of the complexity that you want this game, it's because of the dopamine that gives you the constant satisfaction of getting things. I know that some people like scarcity, I like the struggle, and I like to solve that puzzle. This is not this game. This game, it gives you everything you want. At the end of the game, you feel really powerful. You can do almost whatever you want. Two concerns that I have. Definitely one is number of players. I will play this as 3 or 4. I'm not interested in playing 2. It feels like you can do whatever you want. 3 or 4, in 3 to 4 players, there is really the competition to get those spots taken. In 2, you essentially can do whatever you want. And also in a higher player count, I like the decision when you want to finish your round, because then you get bonuses the more the other players keep playing. You can really score lots of points in this way. Usually games trying to push you towards efficiency, optimization. Here you can be very efficient and get many things done during your turn, or you just go for a big move and you sit there and you see kind of your investment growing, interest growing, because the more people play after you, the more bonuses you get. Another concern is, I don't know, I feel like maybe there's some replay issue in terms of, I feel like after playing a couple of times, I've seen everything that this game can offer. Yes, there is random boards, there are lots of different characters, but there's not really a path to victory. Just score points, just enjoy the experience. It's not a long game. The box says 90 to 120 minutes. I would say 120 if you need to explain it. And if you probably are for slow player, but after a while, really, you can crank this at 90 minutes, even with 4 players. This is really, really fast. So overall, I'm very happy. I don't know how long it's going to stay on the shelf just because of this concern, but definitely if an expansion comes out that gives me some different paths to victory, it adds something. It really seems to me that kind of spark to say, this is going to be everlasting worker placement game, introductory worker placement game that is going to stay in my collection. So far, great bits, great component, great experience. If I'm looking for something, just, give me the pleasure or every turn feeling powerful, this is the game that I'm going to play. And if you made it so far, I want to thank you. Please don't forget to like, share with your friends, subscribe. You know the drill. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much, and see you next time. Ciao.